What is up, wrestling fans? Welcome to another Pay-Per-Viewpoint edition of the Smark Moment Smack Talk podcast. It's time to talk about WWE Money in the Bank 2020, which just ended a few moments ago. It's super early from what we're normally used to, but hey, that means that you're going to hear this earlier. That's cool. I'm your host, as always, Tony Mango, and joining me, as always, is Robert T. Felice.
Oh, Tony, it's the best of times and the worst of times
I was saying
because
Boo Earns.
what a great time to be here so early, but what a shitty end to the show.
Yeah, we got some things we're gonna run down here. Some positives too. Don't worry, we're not just gonna crap all over the whole thing. But as always, it's not just about our opinions, it's also about yours. So make sure that you leave a comment and tell us what your thoughts were for this pay-per-view and your thoughts on our thoughts on this pay-per-view. And if you are listening to us on the platforms that do not have a comment section, like Spotify or Apple Podcast or Google Podcast or Stitcher or whatever, then leave us whatever the equivalent of like a follow or a favorite or a like or a heart or something like that is on that. And hop on over to either the page on smarkoutmoment.com or send a tweet or post something at Facebook at smarkoutmoment, or go to the YouTube channel. And while you're there, you can not only leave the comments, but you can also subscribe to the channel if you haven't done that already. Ring that little notification bell to be aware of when we post videos and when we go live. And hit that like button on the video as well, too. That helps out quite a bit. But yeah, let's just dive right into this with the kickoff. Not much to talk about here other than the match itself. I don't have any other notes other than, I guess, just Peter Rosenberg is there with Scott Stanford and they're just doing things the normal way. Other
I
than
like
that,
Scott
yeah,
Stanford.
I like him, but he always does remind me of more of like a like Cincinnati CBS affiliate news anchor or something like that. I don't know why Cincinnati in particular stands out to me.
He
It's not
well,
like I
he's
know the area or anything.
specifically he's a New York Channel 11 affiliate.
Oh, well, then there you
Um,
go. I'm
um,
somewhere around there, you know.
yeah, I think he's good. I just think he's good at his job. Who was the girl?
Elise Ashton, I think they said her name was. She's kind of new, but they haven't used her much. Elise Zwick, I
Oh,
think, was her other
yeah,
name.
so they kept her on?
Somehow they kept her, but they got rid of some of the other people.
I thought she was one of the ones they had let go, but okay.
Yeah. No, they had gotten rid of God, who was the other one? Somebody else. I don't know. I'm blanking
Uh,
with her name.
the NXT one, the Katie something or another. I know who you're talking
Yeah,
about.
yeah. I'm blanking on her name. Sorry, Catherine something. I don't know. But they had one match. It was Jeff Hardy versus Cesaro, and
Way too good to be in front of nobody.
it was a good match. Yeah, it was a nothing match because not only is there no feud for this, but there's nothing that's going to lead to because we already know Jeff Hardy's feuding with Sheamus, and
Well, the
Cesaro is a
bar.
part of this whole thing with they didn't really even play into that, you know.
Well, they don't play into that. They are the bar. They don't play the bar. They are the bar.
But it was just there to give Hardy something to do to shake off some of the ring rust, put him in there with somebody who's reliable and trustworthy, and give him a win. And they did that. Good match. So, thumbs up as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah, I liked it a lot actually.
I still think it's funny to see Jeff Hardy playing up to a crowd that's not there.
Yeah,
He hasn't gotten the
yeah,
foothold
that's
on that
that's
yet.
that's an issue.
We got
That's
even
a
more confirmation that it's back to Twist of Fate. So that was good.
Oh yeah, I went back actually because I had missed the call and I rewound the thing just to make sure he said Twist of Fate. I was,
Yeah.
okay, just so we're clear, it's not Twist of Fury, Twist of Fury. That
Twist
was a
of
weird day.
Fury.
That was a weird day because they brought him back and then he disappeared, so they could rebring him back, and it's the Twist of Fate again. It's like they just retconned the whole fucking thing.
Yeah, they completely undid that. They did allude to it though. They said, well, he has only wrestled once in the past however many months and stuff, but it's just that soft restart kind of thing. Kind of like when every once in a while somebody will be in NXT and then after however many months they'll start saying that they're going to debut. And it's just sort of like, you know that they've fought a bunch of times before, right? Like, hey, Elias is going to come here. Well, Elias Sampson lost to this person and that person and that person, and that kind of thing. But whatever, it did its job. Same thing for the SmackDown Tag Team Championship Fatal 4-Way. That was the New Day against the Forgotten Sons, Lucha House Party, and John Morrison and The Miz. I have a note written down here. Grand Metalik is full on looking like Juventud Guerrera. Oh, hey,
Dude,
Corey
yes.
Graves agrees.
Yes! That was awesome. I popped big for that. You know, we're big fans of Hoovy. If you're a long-time listener, I popped big time.
Some good old Hoovy action on here. Grand Metalik was all over the place here. He wrestled, I think, more than anybody else in this match.
Well, because he's good.
Yeah, I liked it quite a bit. I mean, I'm not the biggest Grand Metalik fan out of the bunch, but yeah, he did his job. He did that C4 from Morrison off the turnbuckle onto a bunch of people on the outside. That was good.
Nice. He does the little spinning and walking the ropes kind of thing.
I liked Ms. Morrison's ring gear. Very Money in the Bank fitting. I think that they lost track of the tags at one point. I have a note about the Metalik and Dorado tag. Seemed like they tagged in Dorado. He tagged in Metalik, who tagged himself back in, which doesn't work that way. Like, there's an extra tag in there that they didn't count or something. Maybe it got lost on my end, but I think that it got lost on their end. So I doubt that it's one of those things that they're going to be like, well, he wasn't the legal guy, and like make a story out of it because they didn't really bring that much attention to it. But I think that they just sort of lost track of the fact that they had already done one of the tags that they had planned on doing before.
Yep.
But I liked it. Rock solid match. Nothing really to complain about. Nothing really to talk too much about. Just good.
I like good.
Good's good. You know, it's not good.
What's not good?
Bad.
Bad. You know what's bad?
What's
this
bad?
Random MVP R-Truth match that ended up not being.
I think we're gonna say Michael Jackson and start getting into the song. You know
I
who's
know.
bad? See, I don't necessarily dislike this. I actually put it down as a highlight because to me, the R-Truth thing was funny. You know, as much as the Jeff Hardy situation is weird, R-Truth asking the people over there what's up when there's nobody there is funny. And MVP comes out. He's wearing his like Black Panther kind of inspired gear, and R-Truth is trying to give him some tips on being ballin'. I kind of chuckled a little bit. And then Bobby Lashley comes out. He replaces MVP and gives him the night off, and R-Truth wants the night off too.
Yeah, that was good.
Like,
I'll take the night off.
So I liked that leading up to this, and then it was just a squash match, and Lashley, you know, the more that he gets wins, the better it is for him to actually be taken seriously. So I'm actually I'm a fond of this.
A fondue.
I am a fondue. I can be pretty cheesy at times.
Yeah. Yeah. And if you hate Tony as much as I do,
then consider donating to the Patreon.
Yeah, you know what was even better than R-Truth's performance prior to the match? His performance after the match, where he said, I won the match, and MVP lost a lot of weight, and I want my baby back, so I'm gonna go smack Tom Brady.
Yeah. I liked it. I think that they haven't really fully declared that MVP and Bobby Lashley are truly aligned with each other, but I hope that they are.
They better. That would be money.
If it's not going to be Apollo Crews, Lashley is one of the best options for that. And for that matter, they can do both. I mean, MVP can have more than a couple people in his stable.
Yeah.
So I like that. And I'm just
Were you already done with TNA by the Beatdown Clan days?
Yeah, way done at that point.
So the Beatdown Clan was MVP, Kenny King, and Lashley and Joe. And I'm cool with MVP, Bobby Lashley, and even Joe, if he wants to get off commentary, doing something together.
I still think Brendan Vink and Shane Thorne is a little bit weird.
Yes.
But, you know, MVP and Bobby Lashley, and I don't know who else they bring into the mix there, but yeah, I'm cool with it. MVP can talk. Bobby Lashley kind of can't. So they would work well together like that.
Yeah, I mean, Leo Rush did good things for Lashley.
Yeah. Apparently he was going to win the Intercontinental title at some point.
I wrote that story.
So it's pretty interesting.
Was. Yes, WrestleMania 35, in fact.
Weird.
Lashley.
Really quick plug here. If you want us to do more of anything in particular, it doesn't matter what it is, whether it's fan tracks, whether it's some kind of article side of things, or maybe it's even something on the Fanboys Anonymous side of things.
Or maybe
Uh,
you just want us to sit down and talk to you.
Maybe, there's a wide range of options, and one of those is just the pick your poison tier where you can specifically request whatever that special feature is. But even if you just want to make sure that we do stuff in general without having to kind of toss the ideas our way, just kind of like show your support on the monetary side of things in general. Even $1 goes a long way, and the Patreon is one of the best ways to make sure that that's the case. $10 and up gives you access to the dark cast or the bonus features on the fanboy side of things. I'm using the phrase side of things a lot. I just realized what it boils down to is, uh, yeah, the
I imagine
Patreon.
so.
Yeah, here's the thing. Patreon.com/smarkoutmoment or patreon.com/fanboysanonymous. You show your support, and it is greatly appreciated and puts a big, big smile on my face. If you don't know what Fanboys Anonymous is, it's the geek culture website where I talk about movies and some other kind of things like that. If it's something superhero related or it's about video games or TV shows, whatever it is, you're going to find it over on that site, including, for instance, our most recent thing, which we did for the Patreon. Marco had suggested that we do something based off of Donnie Darko. So the two of us and Caroline did a fan tracks of the director's cut. So check
I'm
that
not
out if
gonna
you're
lie,
interested.
I've been thinking about that a lot. That has been in my head.
About what, Donnie Darko?
Just Donnie Darko and trying to piece all that together.
Have you gone down the deep dive of?
I haven't gone down the deep dive yet, but I am off tomorrow, so we'll see what happens.
Well, again, if you want us to go down deep dives about something, patreon.com. So let's move on here to something that just was what it was. It was the Bayley versus Tamina match for the SmackDown Women's Championship. My first note was a bunch of Z's. My second note was just kind of complaining about Bayley's title reign and the fact that I don't buy her as a heel. And when I can hear her trash talking in the middle of the match, even more so with these empty arena things, it's that much worse. Did not like any of this. Didn't like the weird fruit roll up outfit that Sasha Banks was wearing.
You know what? I thought she was looking pretty fine.
Like a snack.
Now,
The
now
fruit
that, now
roll.
that you say it's a fruit roll, though, I'm gonna see that.
I thought that this was sloppy. The ending was just the worst part of the bunch.
Speaking of fruit roll-ups, that
Yeah.
ending.
This just sucked, as expected.
Commentary had me believing that Tamina was gonna get this belt because they were really harping on it's been 10 years and she's so ready and she's all the hurdles, and I'm like, oh boy, are we really gonna get a Tamina? And I'm waiting for the hacker to come out because they're really pushing and pushing and pushing this Sasha hates you, Bayley, or does she? I don't know. But my only notes were Sasha looked good, Tamina was Tamina, and I enjoyed the fact that she rolled her up and then Tamina didn't sell it. She just immediately picked her right back up for a Samoan drop. I enjoyed that.
She didn't sell the roll up either because she was just like halfway not even rolling herself over.
Well, it's Tamina. Give her a break.
Yeah, well, she's had 10 years for a break. There's no excuses at this point. I just didn't like this.
Shout out to the Triple Threat crew. This match was easily the most talked about
Yeah,
match amongst Smark Out Moment people
because we all
going
wanted
into the
Tamina to
show.
just win and just like burn it all to the ground kind of a thing.
Ah,
So we didn't even get that. Disappointed. Let's see. We moved on to the Universal Championship match, Braun Strowman against Bray Wyatt. They said here, Braun Strowman looked up to Bray Wyatt as a father figure, and
yeah, that was weird.
Braun said, "I'm not the same boy I used to be." Braun Strowman's 4 years older than Bray Wyatt.
I didn't know that.
I looked it up. I'm like, pretty sure that he's kind of older, and yep, he is.
He's
He
4
is.
years older. Wow.
Uh-huh. So he looked up to somebody 4 years younger than him as a father figure.
Do you look up to me as a father figure?
No, I can't say that I do. That doesn't make any sense at all.
Well, there you go.
I didn't really like this. I mean, I could see where they were sort of trying to have their cake and eat it too. They wanted it to be a little gimmicky, but they didn't want it to be. So they had like the puppets ringside, but that was a little bit more awkward rather than fun or funny or special. It was kind of cringy. Of course, it would be not anywhere close to the cringiest thing of the night, but I don't hate it. That's the thing, because this is the first encounter between them, and clearly they're going to do a Fiend match next. And if that one is the one that's kind of the brutal beatdown type of thing, then as much as I hate the idea that they're just like, well, we'll build up to a pay-per-view and the pay-per-view will just be a thing to build up to another pay-per-view, I'm willing to let it slide a little bit.
Well, you had to know that, given that they weren't doing Strowman versus Fiend.
Right.
This is ironically enough, Sweater Bray Wyatt's first loss, and I'm a little surprised it took this long. But I liked this version of Sweater Bray Wyatt than the one that we saw at TLC against The Miz, because he lost, he got a little too cute, and he paid for it, and now he wants to be the Fiend.
Yeah, that makes a lot more sense. I'm really actually hoping that they cancel Backlash and they just bump up Extreme Rules.
Well, let me tell you, they advertised it like 3 times tonight, so
Backlash?
that's not happening yet.
Oh, wow, I completely didn't notice that they did that.
They
Well,
sure did.
there goes that idea. I think that would have been a way to do a match without having to overstay everything's welcome and just sort of because, well, I guess technically speaking, they have too much time. They need to do both. That sucks. Yeah. Uh, I'm willing to watch another match between these, but it needs to be better than this. That's the thing. If we can get Braun Strowman versus the Fiend and they beat the living crap out of each other, and it's not this sort of let's stop in the middle of the match and talk type of thing, then cool. Despite the fact that we had to build up to a thing that builds up to a thing that builds up to a thing, like, that kind of thing.
So I liked the match, except for the whole. I thought Huskus the first time was cute, but then the whole "Yay, he's home! Braun is home!" It's like you guys haven't established what the fuck these characters are. Still, Bray Wyatt's been a thing for 6 years on the main roster. Why these characters? Like we know as fans that they're okay. Huskus the big boy is Husky Harris, and Mercy is whatever. But like you haven't established where the fuck do they come from? Why are they here? And why is it that anybody but Bray Wyatt can see them? Like how come Corey Graves can see Huskus the pig boy?
These are our jobs. Got a debate about why can Corey Graves see Huskus the pig boy.
And that, ladies and gentlemen, is a moment of reality brought to you by Tony Mango. Yeah.
It's strange. Yeah. I guess we'll see where this goes, but clearly they're not done feuding. So we know that we're going to get some kind of a continuation for it, and I just hope that it's better.
What do you think about the message? What do you think about this hacker guy?
The hacker thing? The truth will be heard or seen or whatever it was. I don't have a whole lot of faith in it because look at what happened with Liv Morgan. Their idea was we're gonna have her go away, and her story is gonna continue by changing her character up, and then they put her in that random Lana thing, and then they just said, "Oh, no, let's just have her wear black." So, is it Ali? Is it Gable? Is it both of them? Is gonna be?
Is it a lot of people? Is it a group of people?
Yeah, some kind of a stable.
Is Paige one of them? I got the idea of Paige in my head for some reason.
Huh? Why Paige?
I don't know. It's a good character to utilize. I keep hearing a female's voice in the whole. Payback is coming and it's coming soon. Maybe Paige would want Sonya away from Mandy, and maybe it's a bunch of people and they all have their own reasons for going after whomever they go after. Like Paige wanted to break apart Mandy and Sonya. Maybe Ali will want to break apart the New Day because he's pissed that Kofi took his spot a year ago. Like, you never know. They could do a lot of things with this. I'm sure they'll drop the ball, but I hope they don't.
Yeah. I'll give it a pat on the back when it's done and they don't drop the ball. Based off of track record, I think that it's not going to turn out all that well. But it could be. I mean, maybe Hayden Vanson's back, for all we know.
Oh man, oh he's coming for that Undertaker.
Yeah, last ride and everything, you know?
Yeah.
Let's see what we had. The WWE
The other
Championship
title
match.
match,
Drew McIntyre versus Seth Rollins, which was good.
too good to be in front of nobody.
That's the big problem with it. You could tell that this match would be so much better, even if it was just exactly the same match, but in front of a crowd. You didn't have to change a damn thing about it, and it would be better just by having a crowd there.
Yeah, I thought it was really, really good, and I was a little perplexed by the ending, not the finish. Like I saw that one coming a mile away,
Right.
that Drew would bounce off the ropes and claymore him, but the handshake.
That is one of the most interesting parts about this whole thing to me.
Did they just throw in the towel with everybody because AOP is injured and maybe they're giving up on Murphy
But he just got new theme music.
for the
Now
Messiah?
the music is awful.
It's awful,
So
awful.
maybe they're doing that just as like a one-time thing, or I don't know. But if they continue with the Monday Night Messiah thing, the music needs to be changed. It's bad. But
It's fine for a gimmick. I don't want this to somehow morph into his theme. Like, you know what it sounds like, honestly? Fucking Bailey's
yup,
awful theme.
I have that down in my notes somewhere around here. I think it's only Wrestling News about the idea that when that happened, it felt like it was just temporary music that they would sort out a better theme, and they didn't. And this seems like this is the beginning of Bailey's theme, but it just
And I thought it was gonna
continues to be
transition
that.
into like you know how Corbin's theme is awful and it transitions into his actual theme.
Right.
I thought they were gonna do that, and no.
Yeah, I don't like that, but I do like the handshake thing. Because normally when they do the handshake, it's, the heel just walks away, or they try to do the handshake and then they try to attack him afterward or something like that. He actually just shook his hand.
The only
Interesting.
thing I can see compare this to is SummerSlam 2004. Benoit did this with Orton, and Orton shook his hand, and by the next night he was a babyface. I don't
Huh.
see Rollins becoming a babyface, but maybe
Nah,
this is gonna be just like Drew McIntyre for the love of the sport. Is just gonna shake everybody's hand when he's done with them. I don't know.
maybe they're just trying to add a little bit of gray. And it's just that Rollins truly believes that he's a positive force and that he would be willing to shake the hand of somebody who beat him.
Yeah, he's a leader, right? Yeah, I like gray. It's a fine color, and I think it works in this story.
I'd like for that to be the case rather than them just being like, he's a babyface now and we'll figure it out. Because whenever they say we'll figure it out, they don't.
Mm-hmm.
So before we get into the main event's
We've been
kind of,
talking
I
for
don't know,
25 minutes.
only 25 minutes. Yeah,
It's amazing.
this is crazy. This is really odd. This feels strange. The one other plug that I need to give that I didn't give yet, as far as the monetary side of things goes, that if you want to show your support and you want to help out with not help out with if you want to pick up some kind of merchandise, there are TeePublic and Redbubble shops for not only Smark Out Moment and Fanboys Anonymous, but another one on the side. It's just a mango tees, and there's plenty of different designs for different types of products that are out there. So hopefully sometime soon we'll have some mask ideas and everything too. And I'm always looking for more ideas. So if anybody has any things in mind that they would like to see worked into that in some fashion, then let me know. And I didn't mean the double joke there with in some fashion, but ha ha ha. Good job,
Aha, ha
subconscious.
ha.
So let's get into the main thing here. It's the men's and women's Money in the Bank ladder matches. And let me preface this with one thing. Your mileage may vary. I know there are plenty of people that both will absolutely hate and absolutely love this thing. I apologize if you are one of the groups of people that absolutely loves it, because I freaking hated it.
Now, did you hate the match, or did you
I
hate the finish?
I hated almost every single second of this.
Okay, so we're gonna slightly disagree because I enjoyed a lot of what was happening here. There are some bits that I didn't like, well, how do you want to break this down? This is a weird match.
Well, I guess I need to say something about whether or not hating means the same type of thing. I didn't hate this in the sense that I thought that it was like the most boring match ever or the worst executed match. It's all got flaws all over the place with botches and all that kind of stuff. What I hate about this is that it reminds me of like when WWE did that whole thing with Hornswoggle under the ring and he's got his magical world and there's like the courtroom and all that. It's when you watch a movie that's bad, but it thinks that it's good. And I know that there's some movies or TV shows for that matter too, or YouTube videos, whatever the medium is, that they try to be so bad that they're good. And sometimes something can be so bad that it's good. But even worse than bad is when something's trying to be so bad that it's good, but it's just too bad to be good bad. And I feel like this was WWE seeing the positive reception that happened out of the Firefly Funhouse and the Boneyard match and saying, okay, let's go balls to the wall, full force. Everything has to be beat you over the head. And more so along the lines of like, now Vince is like, well, you know what else I think is funny? Is this and that and that.
Vince didn't do enough in this match. I
My
wanted I wanted more from Vince.
So I have a couple notes from here and there throughout the match. We're gonna probably bounce around here, but
So
uh,
did they, so it's all good.
yeah, I thought it was extremely awkward having the entrances be in front of the elevators and
Yes.
the gym.
Yes.
I didn't like that at all, especially because to me it felt like people lining up for the start of a race in a way that it
I
wasn't
thought they
supposed to
were
be.
actually.
Well, in a way that it wasn't supposed to be. Like, yeah, they are all racing to the top, but they're not like Olympians that are kind of like, oh, okay, well, whoever wins, like, congratulations. Like, these people are supposed to be fighting each other the second that the bell rings. There should be no reason why Carmella shouldn't just like super kick Nia Jax or something from just standing
Yeah.
next to each other.
Specifically Shayna bothered me. Cause I'm like, Shayna wouldn't just walk around them like that. She
But
would do something.
at the same time they did that, and it was stupid, did something that I thought was funny, which was Daniel Bryan comes in there, and the note that I have written down is Daniel Bryan's all hyped and talking to them like they're all campers ready to go on a hike.
Yeah, all right. Is everybody ready for this?
Like,
Yes.
did you pack your water? You got the whatever? Like, okay, we're gonna have a great time here, champ. Like, that I thought was funny in a stupid way, and it was sort of like, okay, you take one thing and it's a positive and it's a negative. And Asuka jumping on top of everybody and starting the match off weird like that. I wasn't a fan because then it immediately went to Asuka doing that weird dance, and I'm like, oh
That's
shit.
fucking funny.
Well, I'm like,
She's
this is,
dancing in the elevator, Tony. That's hilarious.
but it started like that, and it was like they're going full blown silly. Okay,
I actually,
I'm not gonna be able to buy any of this as being real.
well, we're well past the point of being real, pal.
But you're supposed to at least like the Drew McIntyre and Seth Rollins thing. You're supposed to buy the match ahead of it as being real right before that. Like, it's so jarring. If this were
Yeah,
just this match on its own special, it would be different. I still wouldn't like it for the reasons like I guess I should say this too. I don't like camp. Like, I'm not the type of person who thinks that
WWE.
Batman is like the type of blue outfit doing the Batusi type of thing. Like, that to me is not Batman. Batman is this dark and brooding.
It's Bruce Timm.
Uh, yeah, it's Bruce Timm. It's the Bat God in the comics type of thing, where he gets on Metron's chair and he's like, I'm fucking Batman, like that kind of thing. Like, it's Justice League Apocalypse War, like that kind of stuff. It's not Batman Brave and the Bold. And the same for a lot of other things. Like, I like comedies that are admittedly, like, Robin Hood Men in Tights, my favorite comedy of all time. It's got a certain level of campiness to it because it's a parody movie, but at the same time, it's more clever than it is stupid. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
there's a difference between that and Naked Gun and like the good ones like that versus something like Epic Movie or Disaster Movie or Superhero Movie where you're like, well, that's not a parody. That's just stupid for the sake of stupid. Like, there's no clever joke in the fact that you're like, hey, there's Carmen Electra. It's just Carmen Electra. So that's where my level of like cheese and campiness and all that, it doesn't translate to me the same way. And I wrote another thing about, I think this might have been on my Bleach Report thing, where I said this was filmed as if it was a combination of a Geico commercial and a Benny Hill skit. I
Great.
do not
Great.
like Benny Hill. Like, that is not humor to me. I get it. He's a pervy old dude and he runs around and it's sped up. You know what I mean?
Lieutenant? Lieutenant?
What?
Lieutenant?
Oh, feelings mutual. I didn't hear you first.
uh,
So that's where I come from this kind of stuff. Like, the background music, I hated. They should not have had this weird uh twisted metal start screen type of every once in a while it sounded like I think the one other one, not twisted metal, Tony Hawk. I wrote down there, like, it seemed like that was like the start screen of Tony Hawk or something.
it's the second time I've talked with the coworkers at Twisted Metal this weekend. Very strange.
Minion
I
all the way.
I liked the beginning of the match. I liked a majority of this. A few quick bullet points that I hated. The cameos, specifically that of what is supposed to be Doink the Clown,
The worst Doink the Clown ever.
but they don't even try hard because the original Doink the Clown died. And I think they acknowledged that Doink the Clown was dead, which is why I was very uncomfortable with the fact that they were doing Doink the Clown. But Brother Love was kind of funny just because, whatever. It's Bruce Pritchard. He loves you. Paul Heyman was in the middle of a food fight, which is very safe in a pandemic situation. Let's have 12 people just throw food at each other. I did notice that Shayna Baszler choked out Rey Mysterio, and we don't see him for quite a while after that.
Yeah, it's true.
I could nitpick, but like I enjoyed the overall feel of it. But then we get to the ring.
Oh, I got notes before the ring.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Oh, I've got, because I wrote like the worst Doink the Clown ever, the Brother Love thing. AJ Styles having the weights put on top of him, and then you could tell that
And
he
then,
needed to readjust because it didn't look at all like he was actually stuck underneath there.
yeah, and I felt a little weird that AJ couldn't lift the weights.
Uh-huh. I
Um,
absolutely hated the bit between Stephanie and Dana Brooke.
yeah, because it looked so bad.
The delivery of Stephanie's lines, that was the worst part of the whole
Because she was
thing.
home.
Yeah, she's very clearly
Like,
not there. And the idea that she's just like, hey, can you like clean up this mess? Like, Nia Jax is drooling all over the place or whatever. This was just, it's not funny. That's the
combined with
thing.
the stupidity of, all right, Dana, we know you're in the match now because you're an idiot who
Uh-huh.
grabbed the briefcase that wasn't on the fucking roof.
Yeah, that was so stupid and just bad. I did like AJ Styles having the PTSD about the Boneyard match.
Loved it.
I
I thought we
hated
read something for a second there.
I hated the food fight though.
Yeah, I'll give you that. I like that Paul Heyman's fat ass was just like, I'm gonna fucking eat. I'm here by myself. I've been catering and eat all this food. And
Now,
what was it? Oh, what was it? Otis having like an Ultimate Warrior moment?
with
with the food.
the sandwich and all that.
Well, yeah, he's like, oh yeah, like what the
Yeah.
fuck is happening?
Well, see, even like stuff like that makes me think that it's one of those situations where WWE says something works, let's beat it into the ground. Like they're killing Otis because it was funny before, but now they're in on the joke, so now they're making it like, I mean, we've talked about it before, like Jim Gaffigan, great comedy special, but once he becomes known as the guy who says the hot pocket joke, and every joke is him going hot pocket, it's not fucking funny anymore.
Like how Dana Carvey becomes chopping broccoli guy.
Or how Will Ferrell just becomes this certain streamlined version of himself, and Adam Sandler becomes the guy who's just yelling at the swan. Yeah, the shibbity kind of thing and all that. Like certain people, they go in that direction, and it sucks that that's already happening with Otis because they do things like, why is John Laurinaitis taking a pie in the face? Is it because Vince McMahon thinks a pie in the face is funny and that's it? Yeah, it's
I
because Vince McMahon or whoever else had pitched it thinks that
I
it's
would have
funny for
liked it
somebody to
if he
get in
just
it.
would have, instead of saying people power, if he just would have said like something like, I don't know, pie power or piple power, something. Say something with pie, and then throw the pie in his face. Like, why'd you waste the pie by hitting him in the face? Why is he there, by the way?
Why are the pies there? Why are there 4 pies sitting out on the
I
thing
understand
whenever
why
you
the pies are there. Hey, we still got people in the building. You know why is John Laurinaitis there? Like everybody else made sense. Pritchard's there because he's the SmackDown executive director. Heyman's the Raw executive director. Why the fuck is Laurinaitis even there?
Why doink?
Well, he's just hiding in the bowels apparently, because he you know, just lives in the bowels of WWE headquarters apparently.
To me, this is just one of those things where it's like, that joke alone goes to show how different their sense of humor is, because I don't think a pie in the face is funny. Like, I hate I'm gonna get a lot of heat for this. I hate the Three Stooges.
What?
I have never seen one solitary moment of the Three Stooges in any fashion that has made me even smirk.
Do you
I
like do you like slapstick in
no,
general or
no.
okay.
That's the thing. I'm not a fan of slapstick stuff. I think after you've seen somebody get hit in the pie with a face, that would be more funny. If somebody gets hit in the face with a pie, that's it. I get it. They got hit in the face with a pie. You could do it 100,000 more times. I'm not going to find it funny, you know? So it's like, hey, how about if John Laurinaitis pops up and he gets hit in the face with a pie? Oh, how about not?
You think he was Daniel Bryan's ride home?
Probably, I don't know. But like, even the food fight, like, here's just a window into my sense of humor. And of course, to each their own. I'm sure lots of people love this. And if you did, that's awesome for you. But my sense of humor, for instance, would take something like the food fight. And if somebody said, why don't we do a food fight? I'd be like, okay, how about we film it this way? Instead of Heyman getting ready to eat a sandwich and everybody coming in and stopping, and then Otis saying food fight, and them all just deciding that they want to throw food at each other instead of grab the briefcase, I would have had him grab a spoon, get a one little like scoop of jello, and he'd be holding it up to his face about to eat it, and suddenly his eyes bulge and you see him quivering. And it's an allusion to Jurassic Park. And all the people come in and knock everything over and stuff like that. That
I appreciate that.
that would be where I'd be like, "Oh, look at that, Jurassic Park. That's funny." You know, like, instead of just like, "Hey, the fat guy says food fight," and then at the
Because the
end of
other fat
the
guy's trying to eat.
yeah, because the other fat guy's eating a whole smorgasbord full of stuff.
You know what I thought was interesting, and if you'll walk with me here and indulge me, people seemed very concerned. Like even Shayna Baszler like stopped when Heyman got hit in the face with food. Do you think Brock Lesnar gets sicked on Otis?
No, I don't think that this has anything to do with any of that. I think
I
that it's
mean,
just like, it would be funny if Paul Heyman had a
I
food fight.
wouldn't have said that had we not been in the situation we're in now, which we'll talk more about as we go down the line with the match. But maybe that's a weird possibility.
anything can happen. I mean, I had a note on here that said that the most dangerous part of this whole match was Dana Brooke slipping on where the janitor had mopped.
Yeah, that's not funny. Like, people die like that.
Yeah. She damn near gave herself a concussion for what was arguably the stupidest thing that they did the entire match.
The whole match was very Looney Tunes, right down to the finish.
Mm-hmm.
But one thing I didn't. Well, hold on. Do you have any
I
more?
still have some more.
Yeah, go ahead.
Because we didn't talk about the Vince McMahon thing. Vince being in
He
his
could have done so
office,
much more.
that was the best part, and it was also a disappointment because I really liked how Bryan and Styles decided to put the chairs back.
Mm-hmm.
That was funny. But then Vince doing the hand sanitizer and nothing else felt disappointing.
Okay, so there's a few ways you can take this. One, it's weird that people stopped fighting in front of Vince, especially these two, when I think both of them have hit Vince a time or two.
Yeah, Styles I think kicked him in the balls.
And punched him in the face. And I'm sure Bryan's hit him. I don't know when, but I'm sure he has.
Probably the
Yeah.
yes movement around that.
I thought that was very weird that they suddenly felt oddly intimidated by fighting in front of Vince McMahon. And because Bryan had mentioned on SmackDown that he wanted to do something with the dinosaur head, I thought he was going to casually walk back in and take the head off the wall and do something with it. But I also didn't like the weird, you made me look like a dumbass. Me? You suggested putting the chairs back? Like, it's like, what?
See, that's where the sense of humor thing comes in, because to me, putting the chairs back is funny. Going, hey, the joke is that we did that. Like, you killed it. Like, you don't have, I don't know, I'll pick a joke from Robin Hood Men in Tights. The Blinken. Spoilers for the movie if you didn't know it. Blinken's blind. And when he says, to Robin comes home and he's like, "Oh, Master Robin, you're back from the Crusades," and he's like, "Yeah," and he goes, "And alive," and he's like, "Yes." Like, he doesn't go, "Oh, because I thought that you were dead, and if you were dead, then you wouldn't be able to do." It's like, no, don't explain the joke.
Well, but that's very pro wrestling right now, isn't it? That they keep stopping, and I made this analogy on a previous podcast with Kevin, the WrestleZone, where I'm like, I don't like that wrestling is constantly. Well, the deal is that you know that it's fake, and just walk with us here, because we're fake. Like, I watch Sons of Anarchy, and Charlie Hunnam doesn't come on screen and go, "Oh, by the way, I'm British, and this is fake." Like, what? Just fucking let wrestling be wrestling. Like, I don't understand. Like, I don't have anything against cinematic matches. I never want to see this particular cinematic match again. I think it's good as a one-off, but this thing where they constantly need to go, "Yeah, this is fake, by the way. Oh, I'm sorry. I got to take us back pre-ladder match and just say, I hate that they said The Undertaker Mark Calloway on fucking TV.
That stood out to me too.
I'm sorry, but Michael Cole saying Mark Calloway the end, I almost threw up. And yes, go ahead and make fun of me, whatever the fuck you want. I'm not saying that I think wrestling is real, but man, you don't gotta go there. And Taker actually, he just referenced that on the bump. That I joined social media and people thought their childhood was dead, and I felt bad, but it's like, it's also time. And I get it, but fuck, you don't gotta do that. Anyway, back to the ladder match.
So then we got to this point where Corbin says, "I'm going to the roof." Like,
which was good.
I'm like, you don't need to say that. That's the point of the match, damn it. Like, that kind of a thing.
Well, I feel like it had gotten to the point where he just said, like, fuck this shit. Like, I could continue this nonsense, but I'm going to the roof.
Also, what by that rationale, why did Asuka stop the ladder, the elevator?
Hold on. Why? Not only that, there's a few of those moments, and they all have to do with Asuka. Oddly enough, why, when the women got into the ring, was it just the three of them? What happened to Shayna and Carmella and Lacey?
Yeah, no idea. Oh no, Lacey was in there.
Lacey was with the one in there. So was it Shayna, Carmella, and Dana? Well, Dana,
Dana.
I guess, passed out on the floor. What happened to Carmella and Shayna?
Yeah, no idea.
They did not show up at all.
Instead, Corbin tries to stop Asuka from getting her
That
briefcase.
was so fucking odd.
Why would he care if she got her briefcase?
I don't think they realized what was happening in that moment. Like, I think somebody just had to try to stop Asuka, and maybe like Nia missed a cue or something. I don't know.
I mean, for that matter, why was Shayna Baszler choking out Rey Mysterio? They're not competing against each other.
That's different. It got weird. It was like a food fight bit. It got weird. Fine. I'm okay with that aspect of it. Why did Baron Corbin stop Asuka from getting the briefcase?
That's the type
And
of
then
stuff that I'm
fail
like,
because Asuka got the fucking briefcase.
yeah, Asuka wins, and then they continue to have just the men get in the mix, and Aleister Black.
Hold on. Asuka wins. And then we get a weird, like, Michael Cole's on commentary again, because by the way, there's been no commentary this whole time. And then the camera cuts, and the ring is empty. And here comes Otis trying to climb up the ladder. I was like, that's some weird editing.
Yeah, I didn't even catch that, but that sounds exactly like it would fit.
But you know what? Really, I have an issue with the fact that Corbin tried to stop Asuka, and then Asuka gets it. Like, you don't have any woman grab her feet, maybe get sprayed with mist. I don't know. Something. Maybe they don't want to spray people with mist right now.
Maybe.
And
Well, then again, they did the food fight, so.
I mean, they did a lot of things they shouldn't be doing right now. But either way, it just felt off.
It just doesn't make sense why he would try to stop her. She can easily grab her case, and he can go grab his. And that's the
Okay,
end of it.
so I'm seeing this. Shayna had Bray in the clutch, and then Otis and Nia did like a double sandwich move to Ray, because get it, they're big and he's small.
And then they had that little pose.
Yeah, I didn't see that during the match. I guess I was focusing on my own food then. But that's a silly spot. But even Ray makes it back. What happened to Shayna?
Yeah. Aleister Black gets thrown off the roof in a way that they
He
paid
sure fucking did.
so little attention to that I think they spent more time on doing the clown than they did on this. He's just like, he gets thrown off. Okay, let's move on to the next thing.
So
They didn't
they've
make a
got
big
to
deal out of
utilize
it.
that, right?
What's that?
They've got to utilize that at some point, right?
I wouldn't put it past them to act like it didn't even happen. It was so poorly done that they took what was arguably the coolest potential spot, and they were just sort of like, nah, and then just moved on, like as if it would have been like a punch to the face. Wasted opportunity. Very bland.
I have to imagine he's gonna rise from the dead.
Maybe. And probably feud with AJ Styles or something like that.
I think he feuds with Drew.
But then we get Otis winning because Styles.
Spoilers, like this match continues going on like a normal ladder match, because unlike Shayna and Carmella, all the men find their way to the ring. They have the most Looney Tunes fucking finish I've ever seen in my life. They do the bit from WrestleMania, which was about a month ago, where again, two parties grab the thing that's above the ring, and they're fighting over it. And then out comes Elias from God knows where, who hits Corbin in the back with a guitar. And I'm like, okay, AJ won.
Right.
Because AJ's got the fucking briefcase, clearly. And he throws it or something, because we're being dumb here. And it lands in the hands of Otis. And I start laughing.
See, there's a lot of things about this that I'm not a fan of. I don't want that Elias and Corbin feud to continue anymore. That's one. And I know that this is another situation where they're just making this a whole joke, because I like Otis. But we can all agree Otis is not becoming world champion. So
Otis just did an interview where he said, I'm only going to cash in the tag titles. Are you really going to waste my fucking briefcase on having heavy machinery cash in for tag team titles? Money in the Bank needs to be rehabbed. And this is the part of the show, ladies and gentlemen, where I try to stop myself from going on too much of a rant, but I'm going to rant a little bit here. Because this concept is so dead to me. For the past, 4 or 5 years, it's meant nothing.
For the men's side of things, at the very least.
Last year, it was Brock Lesnar. And I'm like, Brock Lesnar is a great choice for Money in the Bank. You can have this dude do his disappearing act and then show up, and it's always a threat because he's got a briefcase that says he can cash in on Raw. And what do they have him do? He cashes in 30 days later after appearing on every single episode of Raw for the first time. And that's just it. The year before that, it wasn't Corbin that year. It's Strowman. Who cashes in on Roman Reigns inside of Hell in a Cell, and it's a draw. And there goes your briefcase. The year before that, it's Corbin, and he loses to Jinder. And the year before that, it's Ambrose. Ambrose has it for 2 seconds.
Might have been that, yeah.
I want a lengthy Money in the Bank holder for the men. Like, I really don't like the fact that this is another joke to them now.
Because it's clear, like, Otis being Mr. Money in the Bank is going to play out as a joke.
He's got to be the first person since Kennedy to defend it and lose, right? He has to. That's why I brought up the Brock Lesnar thing, because maybe it's that simple.
I honestly think that they're just going to have him hold this for a while and try to cash in and lose, and just lose a cash in. I don't think that somebody's going to take it from him.
Nobody thinks Otis is going to be champion.
No, but I don't think that they care. I think that they are just like, heh, wouldn't it be funny if we gave it to the fat guy? That's funny.
And you know what the most annoying thing about this to me is? This would have made for a hell of a local crowd pop. Because say what you want, Otis is over, and you give him the briefcase when there's nobody around to cheer.
Yeah. Now, I like Otis. Like, I don't want anybody thinking that I'm like, oh, Otis and Asuka. Or like, I like Asuka too, but I just feel like they're going to waste both of these. Even Asuka's.
Asuka, I think it's fine.
Well, like, I can't see Asuka cashing in and beating Becky Lynch.
What about anybody on the SmackDown side?
The way that they're doing that whole thing with the stupid Sasha and Bayley thing, I don't think that anything's happening with there either.
Has Sasha fought Asuka ever?
Yeah.
Like in a feud, though?
I don't know if they had like a feud. I think that they had like 2 or 3 matches on Raw.
Because you can go there.
But like, I don't have a whole lot of faith in them using the Asuka thing. But I have zero faith that the Otis thing's going to be anything but a laugh.
Yep.
And that sucks because it's like, well, Money in the Bank, like they could do a whole lot with like Styles as Mr. Money in the Bank or, you know, whatever. And for that matter, like, again, I like Otis. So it's not like I'm saying, oh my God, they gave it to the worst possible option or something like that.
I'll say it. They gave it to the worst possible option.
But they did it in a way that it's like this whole match was a joke. And the payoff is going to be a joke. So it's going to have been... That's another thing, too, is we got robbed of a Money in the Bank ladder match. We didn't get a Money in the Bank ladder match. We got a backstage Benny Hill skit that is going to lead into one, if not both, of the Money in the Bank winners being a waste. That sucks, you know?
So we go right back into Becky versus Asuka in some regard, because they did announce that Becky would be on the show tomorrow to confront the briefcase holder. I can't even think of a logical path for Otis.
If he loses it to somebody, who do you think he loses it to?
Like a big time heel, like a Brock or a Randy, or like somebody who is going to take it and do something much more significant.
Because remember, it's SmackDown.
That doesn't mean he can't lose it on a pay-per-view.
I mean, they could always do cross-branded things. It's not stopping them.
I thought about Ziggler for 5 seconds, and I thought, do they really want to?
I don't want to see, like, for instance, Otis against Bray Wyatt for the title at SummerSlam.
Otis is Huskus the Pig Boy.
If that's where this is leading, I don't know. Maybe I will like it. But that's what we got. We got Asuka and Otis are Mr. and Ms. Money in the Bank, and I think that we had potentially the worst match of the year. I
You
don't
know,
know.
I wanna reference Callum for a second because I remember I don't know if this was on the air. Well, it must have been. It must have been when we were doing the whole 2020 hindsight. But he said Rusev was the most over person 2 years ago, and they should have given him the briefcase. This to me felt like, oh, they're listening, and Otis is organically over, so they're gonna give him the briefcase in front of nobody. Like that to me was the most strange thing. Like this would have made for at least a good pop, but with nobody there, who cares? Like, what are you really gonna have Otis do with this briefcase?
I guess we'll find out. Tune in to SmackDown.
Same bad time, same bad channel. Hit the bet Tuesday.
So my takeaway for this whole thing was it's weird. This event ended super early.
Yeah, we would have just been getting in the Skype call now.
I didn't like it overall. I felt disappointed in a lot of ways from what I thought that they had potential to do, and I'm now at this point. The Boneyard match wasn't bad. The Firefly Funhouse match was, as I said before, a good promo, but a
It wasn't
bad
a match.
match.
It wasn't a match.
And then this is full blown. Okay, WWE shouldn't do any of these anymore. They're
I'm
just
not
they're
at that
gonna
point.
they're gonna kill it. They already did.
They are gonna kill it, but I'm not at that point yet. I just feel like you're wasting the briefcase again. This is another gimmick match that I feel like they have to rehab at some point, which they might never do because look at Hell in a Cell. And I'm already thinking, when is Otis losing that briefcase?
You know what else?
Which I should.
We didn't get a Pancho Villa joke or a reference to Shaka Khan. Come on, Bruce.
Yeah, they went very light on the fan service, which I wasn't mad about cameos per se. I was mad about the quality of the cameos.
No, if they would have done good cameos, it would have been fine.
Like Doink the Clown was stupid. Really bothered me. Maybe more than it should. I don't know. Vince was stupid. Vince should have been working out. Instead of starting in the gym, you should start it in like the cafeteria or something. Vince should have been working out. And I said, who's interrupting my workout? Get out of here. And then as they're leaving and they're fighting, yeah, that's such good shit. And you're done. Like
Or he should have been like in his office, just going, he's gotta, like just gotta,
or something. Like he's listening to an iPod or his phone, and it's like he's listening to Stand Back on his phone. Something that's just like, I get it. Instead of, oh, Vince is working on something, and oh, but isn't it good that he used hand sanitizer because he's being clean?
unlike
Social
a lot of the other
distancing.
things. Yeah, just nah.
And for fuck's sake, if you were gonna have Steph make a cameo, you could have had her in the building.
Yeah, that might have been the worst. I don't know. They were all pretty bad for the most part. The Vince thing, at least with the chairs, I
How
like
bad
that.
was Brother Love? Like looking, like
Oh yeah.
like I didn't know that he was that. It seemed like they fucked up on the red face because it just looked real awkward.
Well, that's Money in the Bank 2020 for better or worse.
I'll say 60-40 worse, but it wasn't like it was all bad.
There were some good things here and there. Some of them, the SmackDown tag title match was good. McIntyre and Rollins have some good chemistry together. But then we had things like, the Stephanie situation and the horrible Doink the Clown and some other things like that. So,
And worst janitor ever who sees a woman slip and fall and doesn't either A, help her, or B, run away in fear of lawsuit.
Should have been the goat, Gary Garbett.
Oh yeah, that's
Would
right.
have been a much better janitor. Uh, that's all I gotta say. Anything else you got?
Yeah, I don't mind that the show ended this early. I want more of that.
Yeah, that'd be okay.
I
Okay.
don't even mind that they taped the pay-per-view because you know what? They had the clips on YouTube so fast. So I'm okay with like the pre-taping nature of things. I just didn't like the quality of the main event we got.
I would like Backlash to not have a single cinematic match, please.
Yeah, but then Extreme Rules you can do it.
Extreme Rules you can pre-tape, but don't give me a cinematic match. Actually, I'm done with the cinematic matches in general now. They've already proven to me that they don't have the sense of humor for it. So if they're gonna be like
Well,
this going forward, I'm not gonna enjoy them. And then
I'd make the
everybody's gonna be
argument that
like,
they don't all need to have a sense of humor. I'd like to see a cinematic match that just, you know, is badass. That's what made the Boneyard match good.
right.
They fought.
But I think that they're gonna tap more into that whole, well, let's try to have fun and make this a comedy movie and that kind of thing, and that's just gonna be bad going forward. So this didn't make me feel better about the situation. It made me go, oh, I want a crowd, you know. And I want a real Money in the Bank ladder match because that's usually one of the more fun things of the year. And now I don't even have like a best spot now because I can't say, oh, Aleister Black being thrown off. It didn't matter. So
Yeah, that was weird.
I got some options for worst for the year end of the year awards.
Oh yeah, Stephanie, your worst cameo.
Might be. I gotta go through. I gotta add some more notes and stuff. Guaranteed, Doink the Clown's gonna be up in that list of worst cameo appearances or something. Anyway, Money Bank 2020. Those are our thoughts. Tell us if you gave it a thumbs up, a thumbs down, or anything else you had in mind. My throat's going away for some reason.
Yeah, it really is what
Not
happened
my
there,
throat's going
pal.
away. My voice, I should say. My throat's perfectly fine. It's just right there. um, but yeah, that's it. I did my plugs, I think, for the most part. If I didn't, then I forgot about anything. Then I guess it's just there for it's forgettable. But Rob, go ahead and hit them with
Yeah,
your plugs.
I have plugs. WrestleZone.com and Fightful.com, two great news sources. I contribute to both. Sean Ross Sapp has a phenomenal Vince McMahon story up on Fightful Select. If you don't already know what it is, I strongly suggest that you subscribe to Fightful Select just for wacky stuff like this. And when you're done with that, subscribe to Tony's Patreons for Fanboys Anonymous and Smart Guy Moment. And you can also follow me on Twitter and Instagram at DudeFelice. And that is it for me.
Well, I don't know what we're going to be doing next week. We haven't quite figured it out yet. We may do a play the game. We may do some kind of a tier list. We may do some kind of a top rope list. We may do any number of different things. So if you have any suggestions, drop them in the comments below. We'll take that into consideration. But we do know that at some point the hot tags are going to be coming up, whether it's like Tuesday, Wednesday, Friday, whatever, and some other kind of main event. And those will be when you hear from us next. But until then, this has been another Smark Out moment, and we're being counted out.